Welcome, sports fans, to our third and final presentation of Cheltenham Panthers football here on Channel 42. After the first postponement of an Abington-Cheltenham game in over 35 years, the Panthers look to toast the Galloping Ghosts on this frigid November afternoon in the school's annual homecoming game. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Seltzer, and joining me is Meeks Brooker, and we'll be calling all the hits from atop the 50-yard line for this broadcast. Meeks, being that this game is against Abington, a cross-township rival of 95 years, the emotions of Cheltenham players will be running high. Do you think that the Blue and Gold's emotional intensity will raise the level of their play in this game or cause them to make careless mistakes?
Well, I think it'll raise the level of their play. The Panthers have thrived under pressure this season, and the camera, where they are 2-0 this season on Channel 42 broadcast, contributing to an overall 7-1 record under them.
And here's an interesting fact for those superstitious fans out there. The two previous Panther victories over Abington have come at Cheltenham. And I should add that both games were televised on Channel 42. And over the last 5 years, the Panthers have a 7-1 record in games that we have broadcast. So the statistics are promising for Cheltenham in this game. We'll see what their play on the field can do. To kick away for Abington is number 9, Joe Cooney, back deep for the Panthers, number 5, Ryan Williams, and number 22, Deron Barrett. And we're about to get underway here on this Monday afternoon in November. Cooney to kick from the 40-yard line. It's a line drive. It'll bounce in and around the 10. Williams will take it at the 5. He starts back to the middle and is wrapped up and dropped for a big loss by number 36 of the Ghosts, Ryan Hollingsworth.
And special teams have been a concern for the Panthers all season, and this poor field position is not putting them off to a good start.
Yes, the Panthers have a long way to go.
At the 5-yard line.
They'll take over at the 5-yard line. That's where Nicholas Dye, the sophomore quarterback, will come in for the Panthers. He has completed 24 of 60 attempts in 2002 for 526 yards. Dye under center, Tarlow and Fonts in the I formation in the backfield. They give to Fonts. Fonts tripped up by the ankles up at around the 8-yard line. He'll pick up about 3 on the play. They spotted at the 9. He picked up 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
And another promising statistic for the Panthers is their 5-0 record they have amassed at home this season.
And they certainly will be using the home field to their advantage in this game. We expect a very large crowd. Something unusual, the school day ended at 1:35 today for Cheltenham. The game started at 1:30, so CHS students will be emerging throughout the stands as this quarter progresses. Dye hands off to Tarlow. Tarlow has a big hole, and he looks like he got up to around the 15-yard line. We'll see where they spot it, and it will be enough to move the chains for a first down. And here's the replay. Good job by the offensive line to make that hole, allowing Tarlow to get that burst of speed he needed for the first down.
And this first drive for Cheltenham is especially important. The Ghosts especially like to get off to early leads. Against Abington 2 weeks ago, they pulled off to a quick 14-0 lead.
Backs in the I formation, 2 wide receivers set to the near side of the field for Cheltenham. Dye pitches out to Tarlow. Tarlow finds a hole on the near side, gets past one tackle, turning a corner. Tarlow is down up and around the 25-yard line.
You could see just how smart of a runner Tarlow was there. Number 54 in Abington went for not the tackle but for the ball on Tarlow. He kept it nicely tucked with 2 hands to avoid the turnover.
And 2 carries for Tarlow equates to 2 first downs for the Panthers. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 23 with 10:31 to go in the first quarter. No score in the homecoming game. Tarlow, the lone back, goes in motion now. They give to him, going to the opposite side of the field this time, cuts back and slips at the 26-yard line. And they'll lose a yard on the play. Spotted at the 26.
And the Panthers have done all running plays so far. A key, I think, for the Panthers is to develop a balance. They seem to play the best when they pass one down and then run the next, keeping the defenses on their heels.
2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Backs in the eye. Sander out to the far side of the field. And Dye gives to Fonts, who's brought down at the 30-yard line. He'll pick up 4 yards on the carry. It'll be 3rd and long, 6 to go for the Chelts. They want to keep the ball moving here. I think both of these teams want to get out to an early start, scoring first.
Yeah, the coach of Abington, Tim Sorber, said it best. He said, we try to establish ourselves early, but sometimes we lose our focus and seem to get down on ourselves when things don't get right.
Tim Sorber's Ghosts come into the game with a 2-7 record overall, while the Panthers enter with a standing of 6-5. They go with 2 wide receivers to the near side of the field, backs in the I formation, 3rd and 6. They go to Tarlow. Tarlow won't have enough for a first down as he's brought down at around the 27-yard line. And onto the field comes the Panthers punting unit, led by kicker Kyle Fratz. It'll be 4th and 5 for the Chelts.
And Kyle Fratz has outstanding power, but his biggest weakness is his accuracy, most evidently shown in extra points where he's a very poor percentage.
Joe Jenkins at around the 40-yard line. A short kick by Fratz. Bounces out of bounds up at around the 45-yard line, and that's where the Abington Ghosts offense, led by senior running back David Duncan, will take over.
And you can already see the teams playing a field position game. The Panthers, who started at the 5, had a lot more field to go than the Ghosts, who are now at the 45. And you can see the tides have already turned towards the Ghosts before they even have an offensive play.
They spot it at the 50-yard line. Midfield is where the Ghosts will take over. They line up with 2 backs in the I formation. 1 wide receiver to the near side of the field. Under center is Spiegel, and he gives to Duncan. Duncan muscling his way through the line up to around the 45-yard line into Panthers territory. And the Ghosts' greatest offensive weapon lies in their backfield threat of running back David Duncan. Duncan, who has amassed 1,048 total rushing yards in 9 games, is 1 yard shy of leading the area in this category. And with that rush right there, he will take the area lead in the category. His average 116.4 rushing yards per game and 10 rushing touchdowns rank first in the Montgomery County.
And he just recently passed the 1,000-yard mark that Marcus Fonts, if he has a good game, can also eclipse.
And you'd have to think, Meeks, that Grove's main objective will be to close the gaps at the line of scrimmage and force the Ghosts to rely on their passing game.
Yeah, last game the Ghosts rushed for 150 yards compared to only 10 passing yards. So if they can shut down David Duncan and the rest of the Ghosts rushing attack, I think they'll have a very successful game.
And Spiegel, their quarterback, is only completing around 35% of his passes. They give to Duncan. Duncan rushing to the far side of the field and brought down at around the 42-yard line.
52-7.
And that won't be enough for the first down, so it'll be 3 and out for the Ghosts.
Ball is marked at the 42-yard line. It is 4th and
They'll
2.
spot it at the 42. It's going to be 4th and a short 2, but they'll kick it away. Back deep to return for the Panthers. Number 21, Sam Tarlow, and number 20, Marcus Fonts. To kick away is number 9, Joe Cooney. And it gets over his head. There's a loose ball, a scramble to run. Barrett giving chase. Can't fall on it. It's a scramble down and around the 30-yard line. We'll see who comes up with it. And it goes back Abington's way. Well, we'll see. Actually, no, the field referee Larry Solar points the other way, and the Panthers will get it down at around the 30-yard line, and a lucky break for the blue and gold here with 6:26 to go in the first quarter.
Well, since it was 4th down, I don't think it really mattered who got the ball, Brian, because either way it would have been first down Panthers ball. And it's interesting to note sloppy play. Last week against William Tennant, Abington and William Tennant amassed a combined 14 turnovers. So So hopefully the Panthers can avoid that sloppy play.
From the 29-yard line, Dye under center, backs in the I formation. Sander lines up to the near side of the field in the wide receiver slot. Dye gives to Tarlow. Tarlow with a burst of speed, moving to the outside, has an opening, and there he goes, and sandwiched by two Abington defenders down at the 15-yard line after a 14-yard pickup. And Sam Tarlow has gotten all 3 first downs for the Panthers this afternoon. And let's take a second look at that carry by the senior running back, Sam Tarlow.
And you can notice once Tarlow's first hit, he keeps moving his leg to get the extra 2 or 3 yards. I think that's what separates him from the other runners in the Liberty League, to make him an elite runner.
1st and 10 for the Chelts at the 15-yard line. Again, they go with the same formation as the play before. 2 backs behind Dye. They give to Fonts. Fonts bottled up at the line of scrimmage, maybe picked up a yard. And it'll be 2nd and 9.
Lucky he avoided an injury there. He was tackled in a very awkward position.
And the Panthers really have been lucky in that category this season in terms of their injuries, knock on wood. They have not had a key player go down.
The touch by an Angels, Panthers, week after week, they leave the injury column empty, and I can't remember the last time a Panthers team has consistently posted no injuries week after week.
That's Gilliard in motion. Dye under center. He's going to keep it. Pitches out to Tarlow. Tarlow rushing to the far side of the field. Tarlow looking to turn the corner. Tarlow stopped just shy of the goal line. So the Panthers are knocking away here with 5:06 to go in the first quarter.
You could hear some people in the Panther stands yelling touchdown. Unfortunately, that wasn't true.
And now as the students make their way to the stands, it starts to get a bit packed over here on the Cheltenham side. And it'll be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. You'd have to think that the Panthers will give it to either Fonts or Tarlow.
Or a quarterback sneak.
And Dart will hold on to it. And we'll see what they signal. Maybe he picked up a yard. And you called it there, Meeks.
Bro has not been shy with using Dye as a runner this season. On 4th and short situations, he has often used Dye to sneak in for the first down. He's a great slithering runner.
And Dye has rushed for 137 yards this year, rushing for an average 2.8 yards on each carry. So here we go again. 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. Backs in the I formation, Gilliard in motion. Dye will take it again, muscling his way towards the goal line. And still no sign. Again stopped short. So great defensive pressure put on by the Abington Ghosts here.
Their defensive line is really clogging those holes up the middle. They're doing a great job of it.
I'm surprised they haven't given it to either Tarlow or Fonts yet. Especially Fonts, because he really has that power in short yardage situations. Here we go, 3rd and goal for the Panthers. 3:45 to go in the first quarter. You don't get much closer to the goal line than this. Backs in the I, Gilliard in motion again. This time Dye gives to Fonts. Fonts is in for a touchdown! The Panthers strike first in this annual homecoming game and go up 6-0. That's Fonts' 10th touchdown of the year. He leads the team in that category. So Fonts picks up a 1-yard touchdown run. And Kyle Fratz will be on to kick the extra point attempt.
And it's important, as you mentioned, for the Panthers not to get over excited about this early score. And they need to sort of suppress a little of their emotion and sort of play smart football rather than out of control.
And the kick is up, and it's straight on through. The Panthers are up 7-0 with 3:34 to go in the first quarter. So the Panthers take advantage of a careless mistake on the part of the Ghosts and capitalize on it with 7 points. And here's the replay of the touchdown.
Sixth play.
And there you see Fonts squeak his way in for the touchdown. And I guess now would be the appropriate time to mention that Abington is 60th out of 66 District 1 teams in the points against category. That is not a good statistic to have.
No. In any statistic, when you're 60 out of 66 teams, it's not good. In an important category like points per game, it's especially not good.
And the Panthers come into the game ranked 4th out of all the teams in the Montgomery County area. They average 286.5 yards per game. They've amassed 3,151 yards this season.
It's also interesting to note they're only behind one public school team.
That is true. And another interesting fact, last year Jesse Patterson rushed for over 3,000 yards alone. But to the Panthers' credit, they really haven't fallen behind. I think a lot more people out there expected the Panthers not to have a winning record because of the loss of Patterson and Norman Raisin and an experienced varsity quarterback. Credit to Joe Groh and the Cheltenham coaching staff this year to put a great team on the field. Kyle Fratz to kick away from the 40, back deep for the Ghosts. Dickerson, Duncan, and taken by number 4, Dickerson. Dickerson has a hole on the near side of the field. He's off! Middle of the field. There goes Dickerson. Runs into his own player and finally brought down from behind by number 5, Ryan Williams. And if his own teammate, if Dickerson's own Ghost teammate did not get in the way, that would not have been pretty.
It's also interesting to note, Dickerson did the same thing against Abington
And there,
opening the game with a 90-yard touchdown return. So the Panthers really need to watch this elusive Dickerson and bottle him up and make sure that does not happen again.
and right up at around the 50-yard line, midfield is where the collision happened. And who knows what would have happened if Dickerson was able to break through.
I know what would have happened. They would have gotten a touchdown.
Backs in the I formation behind Spiegel. One wide receiver to the far side of the field. Spiegel bobbles it, pitches out to Duncan. Duncan under pressure. Here come the Panthers defense. He turns it to the other side of the field and brought down by Deron Barrett at around the 35-yard line. There is a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is from Larry Solar.
Duncan sort of had a Barry Sanders run there where he sort of ran very long for a short yardage play.
And they just called a face mask on the Panthers, and that will move the Ghosts forward about 15 yards. And the Panther fans voicing their discontent.
Some profanity.
And the grandstand is packed here on the Cheltenham side.
Luckily, we have good seats up here in the box.
And they only move the Ghosts up 5 yards.
They're lucky it wasn't a personal foul penalty.
It's going to be 1st and 1 for the Abington Ghosts. No backs behind Spiegel. There's Duncan in motion. Spiegel, taking himself, has a hole and moves his way up under the 25 down to the 23-yard line. And I'm surprised the Panthers let him have that much there, because I don't think he was going to pass it. He's not the best on throwing downs.
No, I'm sure Coach Groh will make the changes needed so that doesn't happen again.
Spiegel is 4th on the Ghosts in rushing yardage. That duty belongs mostly to senior running back David Duncan, and he gets the call on this carry, and the Panthers don't give him much. There's a flag down on the field as Duncan gets his way up to the 20-yard line.
Interesting to note, even the... I'll continue after the penalty.
And another face mask against the Panthers. So it looks like Larry Solar will be running a tight ship this afternoon. As we approach the end of the first quarter with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining, the Panthers had 7 points, but the Ghosts threatening here.
15-yard line will be 1st and 2.
And they'll reap the benefits of another Cheltenham error. Backs in the I formation behind Jason Spiegel. Spiegel keeps it, going to the outside of the field, breaks a tackle, he's into the end zone for a touchdown. So Spiegel pulls off the sneak and is able to elude a few tackles and get into the end zone.
Interesting to note, even though Abington has a poor 2-7 record this season, they're riding high off of an emotional 30-24 double overtime victory over the other Panthers, the William Tennant Panthers. And the game was marked by sloppy play with 14 combined turnovers between the teams and 2 strong rushing attacks. So we'll see how that emotional victory comes into play today.
That's Spiegel's 5th touchdown of the year. He's second on Abington in terms of points scored. He has 24 on the 2002 year. Cooney to kick the extra point attempt. And the kick is up. And it's straight on through the uprights. So Abington knots it at 7 with 2:01 to go in the first quarter. So the Panthers need to bounce back here.
Yeah.
And the penalties really did shoot the Panthers in the foot on that last series.
Sloppy play.
And these two teams met for the first time in 1917, a lopsided game won by Abington, 37-0 over the last 4 years. You could best describe this rivalry in terms of a seesaw. In 1998, the Chelts pulled out a 23-20 triumph against the Ghosts, taking the game in overtime. The following year, fans were once again biting their nails as a back-and-forth contest was taken by Abington 21-20 in the final quarter. And on Thanksgiving Day 2000, the Panthers, backed by a strong home crowd, defeated the Ghosts 20-17. And last year's Turkey Bowl game against the Ghosts was played under extenuating circumstances. The Panthers had a bit of an emotional meltdown in that game and ended up losing to the Ghosts 32-26 in their final game of the 2001 season.
I look at the emotional meltdown as an excuse. I mean, if you tell a player enough times that they can't expect it to be mentally prepared, they're going to eventually believe it themselves. So I view that excuse as a scapegoat for their poor play.
Cooney to kick from the 40, Barrett and Williams, the deep men for the Panthers. Williams takes it at the 10. Here comes Ryan Williams, gaping hole in the middle of the field, coming to the near side, cuts back, gets past one tackle, then the near sideline. There goes Williams. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10-5, touchdown. Ryan Williams. The Panthers broke open a hole in the middle of the field, and the special teams gets the job done as the Panthers storm back on a 90-yard touchdown return by Ryan Williams. And that is just the boost that the Panthers needed. Here's the replay. And Ryan Williams had a wide open lane, just crosses over number 30, Wes Bradley, and he was off down the near sideline and into the end zone for 6 more points. And you don't see that all the time. A great return by Ryan Williams.
And here comes the infamous Kyle Frax.
And the kick is up and through. It's 14-7 Panthers, and that's Williams' first touchdown of the year. And what a way to get it.
And that really has to deflate the Abington Ghosts' hope. They chip away for an impressive march down the field in a drive. And then the Panthers just in one play get all those points back.
Well, I guess now we all know why Abington is 60th out of 66 teams in terms of points allowed.
That was some impressive instant gratification.
So the Panthers defense has got to cut down on the penalties.
So far, that's been their one weakness today.
And Abington can't let that very impressive return, as you said, deflate their ego. It's still very early in this game. And as I just mentioned, in years past, the games usually have been very close. Every point counts. And that one game in 1999 when the Ghosts won 21-20, it was because the Panthers missed an extra point opportunity. And the wind is blowing hard here at Cheltenham High School. As you see the ball roll off the kicking tee.
Well, this is the situation where we're going to find out if Abington coach Tim Sorber's words hold true. He mentioned that sometimes we lose focus and seem to get down on ourselves when things don't go right. So hopefully he's right for Cheltenham's sake.
Frats to boot away. Ooh, a dribbler on the turf. Slipping and falling on it is number 36, Ryan Hollingsworth.
After the play, Kyle Frats and Justin Cooter of Abington had some strong words to exchange after the play, so that it really notes how the intensity of this rivalry.
And this is one that the Panthers do not want to lose in any means, in any way, shape, or form. It's interesting to note that Coach Groh places more emphasis on league games throughout the year than this game, but in terms of the emotional intensity, it doesn't get much bigger than this.
No, the players are well aware that this is the Turkey Bowl.
Not the Turkey Bowl this year.
Oh, it's not?
I don't think it's Thanksgiving Day. I could be wrong. Spiegel on the play action. Screen pass over to Duncan. Duncan, far side of the field with a burst of speed, is brought down by number 55, Mike Cisamaro, who has really emerged as one of the premier Panther defensive players this season. Groh said that he could not be more happy with the play of junior Mike Cisamaro. When I asked him who was the most improved player on the team, he said, without question, it was Cisamaro. And they can expect big things from him next season. This Panthers defense starts 10 underclassmen. They'll be in good hands for the 2003 season.
There's only 12 out there, so that's almost all of them.
They have Tarlow and Gilliard Grimsley on the corners, which are the only two senior defensive starters. Spiegel under center, hands off to number 32, Mike Briley. Can't come up with anything.
Briley on the carry. Picks up a first down.
It'll be enough for a first down, as they will move the chains and spot the ball up at the 44-yard line. It'll be a fresh 10 for the Abington Ghosts.
Going back to how much this game means to each Cheltenham player, quoting Richard Gilliard Grimsley, one of the senior leaders of this team, he mentioned, "We're determined to go out there and have fun the rest of the way and finish the season on a winning note."
Rolling out is Spiegel. He'll take it, and a crunching hit by number 23, Mike Waller, who got in there on the tackle. And the Panthers have to keep an eye on Jason Spiegel. And we're going to get a second look at the carry. And as we come back to live action here, that will be the end of the first quarter with the score, Cheltenham 14, the Abington Galloping Ghosts, the visiting team, 7. And a pretty strong quarter there by the Panthers, with the exception of 2 defensive mistakes. And when we come back for the second quarter, the Ghosts will take over at the 42-yard line. And now out on the middle of the field, if we can get a shot of it, the Cheltenham cheerleaders are presenting the Abington cheerleaders with the ceremonial A And now rushing onto the field are the Abington cheerleaders, and they will be exchanging the ceremonial letters.
Oh, the drama.
And it's an annual tradition here, every year, that the cheerleaders do this. I was talking to our executive producer, Mr. Stam, before the game, and he said that when he attended Cheltenham High School, he could remember his mother helping make these ceremonial letters. So this has been a tradition that's been going on for a long time.
It's nice. A lot has changed since those times, but this tradition keeps going.
One of the oldest rivalries in the state, Abington and Cheltenham. And last year the game was in jeopardy due to the fact that the Panthers were making a very strong playoff run. However, they were stopped in the second round by Conestoga, which enabled them to be eligible to play that Turkey Bowl game. But many of the Panthers' hearts were not in it. I think for them it was more gratifying to be in a playoff position than playing a homecoming game that was essentially meaningless against the Ghosts. Spiegel drops back to pass over the center of the field. A diving catch by number 44, Rich Welsh. And it looks like they're going to bring it back. They called it an incomplete. They say that when he hit the ground, he did not have control of the ball. So it'll be 2nd and 10, excuse me, 3rd and 6 from the 48-yard line. And this time ticks off the clock here. 11 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the half, and there seems to be confusion on the field. Coach Groh talking things over with the field judges and referees, and unfortunately the refs can't go under the black hood and review these plays.
Nah. Maybe with a little help of Channel 42 they could, but we'll have to talk to them about that for next year.
On 3rd and 6, the backs line up in the I formation for the Ghosts. Wide receivers split to both sides. Spiegel under center, gives to Duncan. Duncan meets some traffic and slips up back behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose yardage on the carry, and the Ghosts will be forced to punt. And once again, great job by the Panthers defensive linemen to really get in there and put the pressure on Duncan, who has been unable to find any openings in the game this afternoon. And I can guarantee you, head coach Tim Sorber of the Abington Galloping Ghosts was expecting Duncan to have a very big day. Fonts and Tarlow are deep for the Panthers. It'll drop in at around the 32-yard line and stay there, which is where the Ghosts down it, and Nicholas Dye and the Cheltenham Panthers offense will take over. So the Panthers have scored on their last 2 drives. We have yet to see Nick Dye pass this afternoon.
So it's something to look forward to.
And a very silent Abington crowd looks on. The Panthers fans getting into it here. Dye drops back to pass, under pressure. The pocket collapses, and he's wrapped up down at around the 26-yard line. In there on the sack was number 27, Tyrese Williams.
I'm not sure if the Abington crowd is silent because Abington's losing or because they're just not into the game. That was a very important sack that Abington just got there, and I could barely hear him.
And here goes Dye. And poor pass protection there by the Panthers' offensive line. And it'll be 2nd and 16. The Panthers lost 6 yards on the sack, down at around the 27-yard line. Tarlow in motion. They give to Fonts. Fonts up the middle, muscling his way forward, fumbles the ball, but gets it back. That fell right back into his arms. A lucky break by the Panthers. A very shaky drive. And it'll be third and a very long 13 yards from the 30-yard line. And here you see it again. There's Fonts on the carry, and it pops free right there. But it was actually knocked back into his arms by one of the Abington defenders.
And these third and long situations are where you really need a good passing game. And I know Dye can throw it because I saw the 70-yard stripe he played against Half Hour Horsham. He can throw the ball. They're just not using him today.
They also need to give him a bit better protection. And the Panthers call a timeout as a very frustrated coach, Joe Groh, takes to the field.
It looks like he's going to eat one of the players.
And going into this year, Groh knew that his squad would be an inexperienced one, but had no concrete basis to evaluate his team on. And after the first 3 games of the season, the key position players on the Panthers began to raise the level of their games, and the team began to play fair, quote-unquote, fair football, in the words of Coach Joe Groh. And Groh admits that the Celts dropped some winnable games, such as those against PW and Council Rock South, that would have made a mediocre season into a rather impressive one, considering the amount of seniors that the Panthers lost at the end of the 2001 year. And I'd like to know how many total rushing yards Marcus Fonts has on the day, because he is approaching the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season. He has 13 yards in the game. And they pitch out to Tarlow. Tarlow, rushing to the near side of the field, looks to turn the corner and scurries out of bounds for the 36-yard line. Entering the game, Fonts had 972 yards rushing on the season. He has 13 today, so he's 15 yards away from shattering that 1,000-yard mark. Our statistician, Julian Siegel, is keeping track of total yardage this afternoon, and we'll be sure to update you
And kudos to him.
Fonts does reach that mark. France to kick it away on the punt for the Panthers. And oh, it's blocked by Abington. There's a scramble for the football. And the Panthers fall on it. And they say it hit one of the Abington players and might go back the Panthers' way. We'll see what the call is. And it looks like the Panthers might have it. I don't know if we can get a replay on that to see if it did indeed hit one of the Abington players, because if it did, it's a fair ball.
Wow. Looks like
And they do give it to Abington, so the Panthers defensive unit will come back onto the field as Abington takes over just shy of the 40-yard line.
Abington will take over at the 41-yard line, Cheltenham, 1st and 10.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Jason Spiegel and the Ghosts. And the Ghosts are in very good field position here as they look to tie the game up before we head into halftime. There's 8 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the half.
The Ghosts actually only converted when they had their poorest field position of the day. That's when they scored their only touchdown. So I don't know how much field position is meant to Abington today.
So time has been stopped here as we wait to resume play. So Spiegel and the Ghosts take over at the 40-yard line. Backs in the I formation, wide receivers split to both sides. Spiegel gives to number 32, Briley, who takes it up the gut down to the 35-yard line. And now, something new for these Cheltenham football broadcasts that we do. We're going to pose a trivia question to our audience. First, let's see if we can bring up the graphic on the screen. And we will give you the first trivia question in Channel 42 history. And the question is, when was the last time that the Abington-Cheltenham game was postponed? And we will reveal the answer later. And there's a big sack there and a fumble. In on the sack was number 54, Brian Smith, but Abington did recover.
And the field is extremely muddy, as you can see by David Duncan's jersey, which is almost entirely brown, which is probably one of the reasons why we've seen so much sloppy play and on unsure hands of how to handle the ball.
It did rain for 3 days straight before the skies cleared for this afternoon's ball game, and there is not a cloud in the sky here at Cheltenham. A very nice fall afternoon for this homecoming game to be played. 3rd and 6 from the 36-yard line. Wide receivers split to both sides. Backs in the I formation behind Spiegel. Play action fake. He has time to throw under pressure. He gets it off, and it's broken up by number 20. Marcus Font. And again, great pressure by the Panthers there to force Spiegel to hurry the pass. And if I were Spiegel there, I would have just held on to it.
Yeah, Spiegel is very lucky. That was a very ill-advised throw, and he got lucky that 44 was actually there. So many things can go wrong when you throw that kind of ball off balance, falling down. The smartest play would have just been to take the sack there.
And we'll see what Tim Sorber does. A timeout is called for Abington. And I guess he's debating whether or not to put Spiegel in there for a 4th and 6 situation or put in Joe Cooney to punt it away. I mean, if they do punt here with just 7 minutes to go in the half, the Panthers will not have very good field position. That's one thing. But then again, if the Ghosts were able to score before the half ends, that would give them a big boost of momentum going into the locker room.
Which is a lot of what football is, a momentum game.
And keeping within tradition, Cheltenham held its annual Spirit Week leading up to today's football game. The week's festivities included Comedy Night, which featured student and professional comedians, a bonfire on the high school's front fields, and the fall sports dance and a school-wide pep rally held on Friday. All designed to lift the spirits of Cheltenham and get great fan support coming into this afternoon's ball game, which the Panthers do have.
As you just saw by our rowdy crowd.
And head coach Joe Groh will walk off the field, and the teams will return to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 6. Spiegel stays in there for the Ghosts. Briley, the lone back behind Spiegel. He gives to Duncan a fake reverse. Duncan under pressure, looking to turn the corner, and he gets a first down outside the 30-yard line. So it looked like he might have been able to be tackled, but there is a holding call against Abington. So that'll knock the Ghosts back even further.
On a side note, Coach Groh, in fact, is wearing pants today. Yes, that's right, Panther fans, pants. If you remember our last Channel 42 broadcast against Hatboro, it was a frigid October afternoon, yet Coach Groh came out with shorts. So we'll see how his pants attribute to the Panthers' success today.
So that holding call will set the Ghosts back a good deal. There's Larry Solar with the call. It's a 10-yard penalty, and now the units will switch as the special teams for both teams come on, and Joe Cooney will punt it away for the Galloping Ghosts. Back deep for the Panthers. Fonts and Tarlow. And it looks like time has been called, and the Panthers will be charged with the timeout.
There he is in his pants talking to the referees.
In my pre-game interview with Coach Joe Groh, I asked him about the future of this team. He paused and smiled widely before answering. And starting 10 underclassmen on defense and 8 on offense, Groh recognizes the potential of his team. Sophomore quarterback Nicholas Dye will return, along with Marcus Fonts, Mike Cisamaro, Deron Barrett, and a host of others. And Groh chose his words wisely in our interview, however, for he said that potential is nothing unless it is realized. Very wise words from the Panthers head coach.
Well, I think this season it has been realized. I've enjoyed watching them grow up this season. They're really a metamorphosis, this team, of what they were at the beginning of the year. Especially evident in sophomore quarterback Nick Dye, who, if you remember his first Channel 42 broadcast against Wissahickon, passed for a combined 11 negative yards passing. And he just has so much more composure.
And down at around the 17-yard line are Tarlow and Fonts. They will return. For the Panthers, Cooney stands in at the 37 and will punt away for the Ghosts. Cooney with plenty of time. A very short, wobbling kick, and the Panthers better get away from that. Takes a Panther bounce and goes out of bounds up at around the 34-yard line. And that's where Nick Dye and the Panthers offensive unit will take over with 6 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Panthers up 14-7.
Those are very true words, Brian. First thing any football coach says once a punt or kickoff ball hits the ground is get away. Only bad things can happen when you do that.
And it was a very short 19-yard punt. You got to believe Cooney's got to do a bit more than that. The Ghosts really can ill afford to give the Panthers a good field position. The Panthers line up with 2 wide receivers at the near side of the field. Tarlow in motion lines up behind Fonts. Dye under center. They give to Tarlow. Tarlow can't find anything and is brought down to the line of scrimmage. And Tarlow has rushed for 51 yards in this half.
And one of the main reasons that the Panthers are sitting on top with this 14-7 lead against the Ghosts is special teams. They've outplayed Abington in every aspect of special teams today, from turnovers to return yardage, and they've really managed the field position game pretty well.
The Panthers have a total of 59 yards on offense. If you tack on that 90-yard touchdown return by Ryan Williams, you'll have 149 total yards. And Tarlow just didn't see the Abington defender coming and was knocked back for a loss.
I don't think that negative yardage was really Tarlow's fault. He was hit almost as he got the ball.
Yeah, very good penetration by the Abington defense. So it'll be a 3rd and a very long 16 from the 25-yard line for the Panthers.
Come on, Nick Dye. We need a nice pass from you now.
We'll see what Groh has up his sleeve. The Panthers split the wide receivers and are up top on your screen. Gilliard down at the bottom. Backs line up in the eye. Dye drops back to pass. Has time to throw. Stepping up over the center of the field. And it's intercepted. Picked off by Dante Coleman, who slips it around the 40-yard line. And that just went over the hands of Panther tight end Paul Sander and right into the arms of Dante Coleman.
And that really was unfortunate that Paul Sander couldn't pull that down.